Hello, YouTube. Me and Michael D broadcasting from our new empty digs, our new channel, the Sons of Queens. We finally took the step to do a collaborative project.
After many trials and many tribulations, we are here. We are home. We're
And
moving into our new place, still rearranging the furniture a little bit. You know, the plumbing is not what we thought. Actually, it doesn't work, but that's why God invented buckets.
I thought we were keeping this. Oh yeah, that is PG. All right, so use your imagination, kids. So anyway, we're gonna pick off where we left off from the last channel, where we're gonna talk about the new episode of The Mandalorian, season 2, episode
Six.
6, chapter
Chapter 14,
chapter 14, the tragedy.
the tragedy. Yes.
Some serious
Sorry
foreshadowing.
about that. I just finally with my phone.
That's all right. This is how our audience knows that we are no nonsense, regular human beings with phone interruptions.
Yeah, giving it to you raw.
Yeah, exactly. So, rundown.
Yeah. So, written by Jon Favreau, as most episodes are, directed by Robert Rodriguez, who is quite the accomplished Hollywood director. He directed Desperado, Sin City, a bunch of big Hollywood movie hits. He actually started his own television network, Mexican American television network, or Spanish language, not sure which exactly, but it's called El Rey. And I think it's fairly successful. So yeah, this is a big time guy that they got to do this. Not sure if he was in last season, but I think he did a phenomenal job with this episode. The runtime, believe it or not, if you were to guess the runtime of this episode, what would you say?
45 minutes.
30 minutes only.
Cripes.
Yeah. I thought it was way longer also. I thought it would be like 47, 50 minutes after, rewatching it and like looking at the runtime.
I feel like because there was no dead air.
There was no what?
No dead air. Like there was no
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like this let's just stare at each other moments, right? It was just like
Yeah. Yeah, and the closest that they came to that is the very beginning. So Din and Grogu are flying to Tython.
right.
And Din's kind of playing a little game with Grogu, saying, "Hey, Grogu, catch the ball, catch the ball."
Right.
And then, Grogu catches it. And then Din says, "Here's Tython. This is where, your Jedi, the Jedi lady said we should take you." And he says, "You want to train with the Jedi, right?" And you could kind of tell Grogu goes like he doesn't want to.
Right.
So I think they were embellishing a little bit on the attachment of Grogu to Din Djarin.
Okay.
And then as they're flying into the planet, so they actually go into Tython, they're flying into the planet.
Right.
He sees the temple right away. So like you said, there's no dead air. There's no like trying to see where's the temple. He's like, well, there's the temple. And they show Yoda in the Razor Crest as they're circling the temple, and it almost looks like his ears are attuning to something. So
Right.
like he realizes there's something going on with the Force over there. So they pretty much land, and then next thing you know, Din Djarin is putting Grogu on the top of the temple, on the rocks, and he's like, "Okay, come on, go ahead, do your Force thing." And Baby Yoda / Grogu / the child doesn't want to do it. He's just sitting there like, "Meh." And then Din Djarin is like, "What is there? Maybe a lever or something I got to push?" Right. So he puts on his scope, and then before you know it, out of nowhere comes Slave One, and it's like, oh my God, Boba Fett is here. So Boba Fett lands. Din Djarin goes to look at him. Boba Fett is just straight up like leaving his
Scarred up.
ship.
Yeah.
He's leaving his ship. Din Djarin is like, "Okay, kid, we got to get out of here." But then when he goes back to the kid is already communing with the Force.
Right.
There's this huge Force energy tunnel that's above him, and
Right.
the kid is just like, he looks like he's in pure like ecstasy mode, where he's just like
Having his existential moment.
Yes, exactly. he's you could tell he's really in tune with something greater than himself. And then Din Djarin goes and tries to penetrate the force field and just knocks him back
Yeah,
because
it's not working.
yeah, he has no idea how the force works. So immediately he goes down, tries to get the jump on Boba Fett, but Boba Fett actually gets to jump on him with some heavy laser fire.
Right.
Steps out from behind the rocks. Din Djarin points a blaster at him, and then I wrote down the language here that they exchange because I think it's very important for the lore. So Din Djarin says, "Are you here for the kid?" The bounty hunter says no. Din Djarin says, "Well, what do you want?" And Din Djarin and Boba Fett says, I'm here for the armor."
Right.
And then Din Djarin says, "You have to peel it off my dead body." And Boba Fett is like, "I don't want your armor. I want my armor that you got from Tatooine off of Cat Vant, the marshal from the first episode."
Right.
And then on that point, after that, Din Djarin says, "Are you Mandalorian?" To which Boba Fett responds, "I'm a simple man making his way through the galaxy like my father before me," which is both a callback to Episode 2, Attack of the Clones,
Right.
and to Return of the Jedi. So two major callbacks there. So Din Djarin asks him, "Did you take the creed?" Meaning, are you a real Mandalorian? Boba Fett responds, "I give my allegiance to no one." Din Djarin says, "The Beskar belongs to the Mandalorians. It was looted from us during the Purge."
Right.
Boba Fett says, "The armor was my father's. Now it's mine," referring to Jango Fett.
Right.
Mando, aka Din Djarin, says, "What's to stop me from dropping you to the ground?" And then Boba Fett responds, "I have a sharpshooter pointed right at you." Din Djarin is like, "Well, whatever, I'm wearing Beskar. Sharpshooter is not going to do anything to me." And sorry, not pointed right at you. And he says, "I have a sharpshooter that's going to fire before my body hits the ground."
Right.
And Din Djarin says, "I'm wearing Beskar. Sharpshooter doesn't mean anything." So the lady says, Boba Fett says, he's not pointing at you, he's pointing at your little friend on the hill over there.
Right.
And then Din Djarin looks up, and it's Fennec from the last season.
Right.
So she's alive, and it was, in fact, Boba Fett that came to get her. So they come to a deal. The deal is give Boba Fett his armor in exchange for the safety of the child and the safety of Din Djarin.
Right.
They inform him that the bounty has risen a lot. They say he could buy 10 suits of Beskar armor, which is pretty crazy.
Right.
So, and then all of a sudden, Imperial troop transports come in.
Right.
So, and then it's pretty much all action from there. So Fennec starts shooting them. Boba Fett starts brutalizing them with a Tusken Raider stick. I've never seen anything like that. He like cracks.
That was pretty crazy. That was intense martial arts right there. That was hard.
It was the most brutal attack I've seen a single individual do in Star Wars, probably behind Darth Vader in Rogue One. Remember in Rogue One, he has that moment.
Slashes everyone.
Yeah.
He puts a lightsaber through the person into the door, and
it was that brutal. It was crazy. It was like a horror movie kind of moment. And meanwhile, the kid finishes meditating and passes out. Force field disappears.
Right.
And you see he passes out, so you're like, "Oh, the kid is vulnerable." But it doesn't seem like a problem so far because between Fennec, Boba Fett, and Din Djarin, they're just taking out the stormtroopers left and right. And then Boba sees the Razor Crest with the landing ramp open, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get my gear." So he gets his gear, and then it's like, "Oh, another troop transport is landing. More Imperials come in." But by that time, Boba has his gear, and he's just laying waste to stormtroopers like nothing. He's got his blaster, and what's really cool is that he's got his blaster, he's got his gauntlet cannons, and he's got knee missiles. and I checked out the action figure that I got from Mezco, from the import,
Right.
and it has all of those actually.
Including the whispers.
Yeah. Oh, what's his name? So Din Djarin is the one that used the whispers, but so if you just give me 1 second. All right, so Boba Fett used. I'll just take off his rifle. He used his blaster, which you see holstered right there.
Right.
He also used another big weapon he used was lasers mounted on his gauntlet, which are freaking awesome.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a badass weapon, right? Just having lasers that you could just point and be like, pew, pew, pew. And then he actually has rockets in his knee pads. I mean, that
was not expected.
That was not expected. I mean, this is high level bounty hunting, predator type stuff. He's so nasty with all these weapons that the stormtroopers actually run away. They disappear.
They were like a 3-person army, but at this point, I think in the lore we've established that stormtroopers aren't exactly a threat.
Yeah, especially to Boba Fett. No, Boba Threat, maybe his name should be. Okay, so they disappear. We think everything is all good, but all of a sudden, a huge turbo laser fires from out of the atmosphere onto the Razor Crest. The Razor Crest is obliterated. The ship we've known and loved for the last 2 seasons is gone. It's over.
Yeah.
So we're like, what the hell is going on? Somebody uses a scope to see that it's actually an Imperial cruiser coming in. We cut to the Imperial cruiser. It's Moff Gideon. He asks his second in command, have the Dark Troopers been deployed yet? And she says they're about to be. And then they showed the Dark Troopers being deployed, which are what we saw the last time we saw Moff Gideon. When remember he was looking around at the armor at the very end.
Right.
So those are actually Death Troopers, which are these Dark Troopers, which are these kind of gigantic flying robots, kind of in the shape as Stormtroopers, but obviously they're much more lethal. They fly right into the rock. They surround Baby Yoda. Din can't get back up there because he doesn't have his backpack. So they actually grab him. They're flying back towards the cruiser. He doesn't have the raised crest. He doesn't have the backpack. They tell Boba, go, follow them. So Boba gets in Slave One, jumps up to to follow the Dark Troopers, which are flying crazy fast, like crazy fast. And they're going into the Imperial cruiser, and they tell him, don't pursue, the safety of the child is paramount. So he says, okay, and he turns around and goes back. And he also kind of can't believe that the Empire is returned.
Yeah, I don't think any of them can.
Yeah, because he was stuck on Tatooine the whole time.
Yeah.
And if you remember, on Tatooine, the Empire left right after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So he didn't know they still existed. The Razor Crest is So Din is shown going through the ashes of the Razor Crest, and the only thing that survived is the spear and that tiny ball.
Right.
Which makes you think either the ball was made out of Beskar, or somehow the fact that Yoda was playing with it so much, it gave it some kind of force protection. I would probably err on the side of Beskar. So then he goes back to Fennec and Boba Fett, and then Boba Fett shows him his chain code, which is basically like kind of like a digital social security card.
Something like that.
In Star Wars. And he said, see, I'm Boba Fett. My father was Jango Fett, who was a foundling, and he even fought in the civil wars of Mandalore. So Din Djarin is, okay, the armor does belong. It's actually yours, yeah. Thank you. And so they're like, oh, I guess this is where we part ways. But Boba Fett is, no, we had a deal. In exchange for the armor, I said I would protect you and I would protect the child. The child right now is in the Empire's hands. So I'm going to help you out. So they all fly back, and Slave One recruits from Navarro Cara Dune, who's now a Republic Marshal. But she tells him, Din says, like, oh, they have the child. And as soon as he says that, she kind of looks up at him. And, she's down for the mission to help Grogu. And then the very end is we cut to the Imperial light cruiser where Moff Gideon is talking to Baby Yoda and kind of mocking him.
Right.
He's well, first of all, Baby Yoda is being guarded by 2 stormtroopers in a cell by himself, and he's like throwing him around and starts force choking him.
Right.
And then Moff Gideon shows up with a few more stormtroopers. One of them is about to stop Baby Yoda. Moff Gideon's like, hold on, I want to see what happens. And Yoda's force choking him, but he doesn't kill him. So you're kind of left to think, is he going to go all the way to the dark side? But no, he like bangs them into each other, and you can see that they're still alive. And then Moff Gideon is like, well, I see you're using your powers, but that makes you so tired, doesn't it? And then Baby Yoda is like basically already halfway asleep. And Moff Gideon mocks him with the darksaber. He says, oh, do you know what this is? And then Baby Yoda is like almost passing out. And then he tells the stormtrooper, okay, put him in chains. Stormtrooper sets his blaster to stun, which stuns Baby Yoda, so he's totally out. And they put these baby little handcuffs on him. And that's how the episode ends. The tragedy of Baby Yoda being in prison.
The stormtroopers actually didn't miss this time.
Yeah, not this time.
No, but that was crazy and then they're also going to bust out Bill Burr.
Yes.
They're gonna. So I guess there's only 2 episodes left in this season, right?
Yeah.
They're guaranteed to film a 3rd season.
I think it's a guarantee.
They're already guaranteed to film a 3rd season. So,
well, first of all, our predictions or trying to predict what was going to happen with the stone of which Jedi will appear.
Yeah.
That all went out the window in this episode.
Oh, yeah. I'm still banking on, at this point, young Luke Skywalker. Like, at this point, I'm banking on that one. Or a Kylo Ren or Yoda, somebody, okay? Well, one of these people has got to find this kid. But
well, it would make sense that they didn't appear right away because it was a forced transmission. So even if Luke felt it and felt the source of it, you still have to travel there.
Yeah, it'll still take them time to get there, right? So that makes sense because everyone's traveling by spaceship and hyperspace.
Which opens up the possibility. What if a bunch of Force users gather at the temple at the same time?
Well, what if a bunch of Force users came in, gathered up, saw Moff Gideon, and then they just like wiped him off the face of the earth because you're dealing with the most powerful Jedi in the world, right?
Well, he's not there anymore.
That's true. So we have no idea what the Jedi are just going to go to that planet and be like, well, no one's here, so where do we go? Right?
Oh, wow. I just had a thought. You know how Luke Skywalker is building the new Jedi Academy?
Yeah.
What if every Force-sensitive being, like super Force-sensitive being, gathers there, and so does Luke, and those are his first students for the Jedi Academy?
That'd be crazy, right?
Yeah, just throwing that out there as a what if.
That's going to be like, I love what they're doing with it, where it's so like, even when they introduced Ahsoka Tano, they didn't make it as a Jedi story. Like they're not making the Mandalorian a Jedi story, like a lightsaber Jedi. Like they're making it an actual.
It's still a subplot.
Yeah, it's a subplot, but it's so. I love how they're fixated on the other world of Star Wars, the Mandalorian. They're fixated on everything else that's going on, right now.
Yeah, the main story is still Din Djarin protecting Grogu.
So,
Their relationship is the main plot of the story. It drives everything else.
and now we now have a crew.
Yeah, just like in the last season, remember everybody got together at the end?
Yeah. We now have a 4-person crew.
Wait, we got
So,
Din Djarin,
right.
we have Fennec,
Right.
Boba Fett, Cara
Right.
Dune. That's
Cara
4.
Dune.
And I'm pretty sure they're gonna bring along Grief Karga.
All right, it'll be like a 5-person army.
Yeah. And do you think Ahsoka's gonna join them?
Probably not. She already
Yeah.
said peace out, like in the last one. She was already like peace out. Give it to somebody else to train. I don't picture her too involved.
I do kind of feel like the possibility for her to come back would be she knows Grogu is going to Tython to commune with the Force, right?
Right.
And I could see her feeling responsible for getting in touch with that transmission
Right.
just to see what's going on out there. You know, not only because she sent him there, but also because it's a big deal in the Force to have like a being like this communicating, right?
Right.
So out of curiosity, you would be tuning in to see who else is.
This was definitely a lot more powerful and presentation heavy than I thought. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm in this rock and then telepathy, and no, this is an actual beacon of like a signal beacon. This is like a satellite signal in the most obvious ways into the universe. Like that was, it's so powerful that if you try to interfere, it's just going to push you out of it.
Now, if she was meditating at the time that he was in there, there's a possibility she could have sensed that after that ended, she could sense that he's in trouble, that the Empire has him. And if she senses that, I think she would join the crew.
That would be interesting, right? It would be like a Avengers Assemble type of thing, except
Yeah, it's pretty much turning into that.
I mean, they really got their diversity, like there, and I like how they. Boba Fett is the first person from the original Star Wars series that they brought in thus far. Like the actor, the character is the first one, no?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then that just leaves way to who knows who they could be bringing next. They could be bringing a young Adam Driver for all we know.
Yeah. They definitely didn't de-age Boba Fett, though. He looked messed up.
No, they definitely they I do you think they did Boba Fett justice?
Yeah, more so than I think this is. If you're a Boba Fett fan, this episode is like your dream come true. He
Like
was crushing everybody, dude. He was crushing.
yeah, no,
He
like
drove back a good 2 squadrons of stormtroopers.
he did it without the armor too. Like he was able to.
Yeah, at first he was doing it without the armor, but once he got the armor, that's
It's
wrap.
like and his aim and he was like, oh yeah, I missed. I meant to hit the other one, right? And I was like this guy is like soldier, no holds bar, like laser focused killing machine.
Pretty much.
Like
Who would you compare him to if you were to compare him to another movie hero or villain or?
I compare him to like a John Wick type character.
Yeah, he's definitely got John Wick vibes.
Boba Fett is the John Wick of the Star Wars universe. Like he comes in, he's like he's like he already has everything planned out. He's like nonchalant coming up, is like, I got you, let's talk. He's a civil guy, right? And all he wants is his armor.
It's kind of like an efficient brutality, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's what John Wick is known for also.
He's the way that they did it, hats off. That's all I gotta say. They did him well. Fennec was always part android or no? Or part robot? Like
No, Boba Fett. That's how he saved her from near death. She was dying out.
And then he mechanized her.
Yeah, so he made her part cyborg. So we also know he's super talented with tech.
Yeah, he's definitely he's like the armorer and man and like he's like his own armorer. He knows what he's doing.
Does this make you want to see his own series or and a series?
I think they're going to definitely at least do his own movie or miniseries.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they're going to do him justice. I think that this is like they're because Disney has been really good at like the whole like here's Iron Man movie one, Iron Man two, and then like introducing like Captain America. And if they do that with Star Wars, it's like, all right, here's Din Djarin, here's Grogu, here's Boba, right? And then now they branch off to have his Boba's own series, right? But I feel like there's going to be a lot of overlap between Mandalorian and Boba Fett.
It's actually interesting that you say that. Do you think they're intentionally applying the Marvel Avengers formula to Star Wars?
They probably are. Honestly, they probably are because Avengers made a lot of money,
Yeah.
and the thing is that if you look at the merchandise, right? You can still buy Boba Fett helmets. You can still buy Lego Boba Fett's. You can still buy a Lego Boba Fett helmet. Like there's no Mandalorian helmet Star Wars like helmet figure Lego made. There's a Boba Fett one, there's a Stormtrooper one, and there's an Imperial TIE Fighter one. So I feel like, especially because the Laser Crest got blown up, Mando is probably going to run out his season three, and then Disney's going to focus on either Boba or someone else or some new collaboration of some sort.
Mm.
Like like George Lucas in the beginning focused on like the Jedi, right? Obi-Wan, Anakin, Luke. And I feel like Disney is really good at introducing people, making you fall in love with them, quote unquote, slowly over time, where you're already introduced. Like before Black Panther got his own movie, they already introduced him in Civil War, right? Like Disney is good at that. It's like we're gonna put you in a different series, let the audience warm up to you, and then we're gonna send you off on your own.
And basically, yeah, so in this case, Mando is like Iron Man. He's the first one.
Basically, like he is the Iron Man of the new Star Wars saga, and I say new Star Wars saga because I mean what happened after Disney took over. Because the Mandalorian didn't exist prior to Disney acquisition, to my knowledge.
Yeah, it's way more far-reaching than I ever expected. It went from a show about a bounty hunter protecting a little Yoda to Jedi's and now Boba Fett.
I don't think even Disney was able to fathom the reception
No,
to this
they
because
had no idea.
I don't I think like yes, what Baby Yoda cost $8 million to make. Grogu cost $8 million. That's a real puppet, no?
I'm sure parts of it are. Is that how much it costs?
Yeah,
Jeez.
like George Lucas was meeting up with someone and holding up the Grogu puppet, right? It was like, don't drop it. It's $8 million. Yeah,
Wow.
it's an actual puppet. Like I imagine like there's trade secrets. I imagine it's like a remote controlled AI animatronic
Yeah, yeah.
type of thing. And if you get all the little servos and circuits and stuff, I would imagine this doll is basically, like 50 years from now, it's like a priceless artifact. Like like the ears and everything. I don't think any of that moving is CGI.
I don't think so either. I'm sure some parts are enhanced with CGI. Like obviously when he's levitating and like
Right.
in the force, there's CGI there. But yeah, he does look pretty much uh, mostly practical to me.
I think he's a practical effect machine, and I think that that's what leads to it because he's so lifelike and it's so interactive, right? That I think that's beyond CGI. I
Mm.
I think they made a actual robot, animatronic.
So where do we go next? Why do you think they're going after that guy Mayfield or May. Yeah, I think it's Mayfield.
Mayfield,
Um,
because he's a thief. He's like good at breaking out. You know, the guy's like a demolitions guy. He's like a hijacker, rogue type of guy.
what do you think they're gonna do with him?
Got to have a team to like break into places, right? Sneak into places, right? You need a guy that's basically like a lock picking guy, a guy that's good with, like he's established himself pretty intelligent, like in the first season, as someone that really like can get around.
He's also former Imperial.
Yeah, I mean that's going to help too, right? So you got to get some connections. So it's going to be, yeah, basically he's building his own Avengers right now.
Do you think they're gonna break him out and say pretend to be an Imperial or pretend you escaped yourself and somehow get us to Moff Gideon?
I think he's just going to break himself out and then be like, "Hey, it's you guys again." Like I think he's going to do it in the most nonchalant way. Like he I just think about Bill Burr's character as himself doing this. Like I think he's just going to do it in the most chill way possible. And they're going to introduce it like the dark saber. They made a joke like you don't want to poke someone's eye out. You know, they made that joke canon where Moff Gideon's like, careful with this dark saber, you don't want to poke someone's eye. And you think Grogu is going to get hurt in the next episode? Like they're going to start like pulling gallons of blood out of him for M count or
I
something?
think they're gonna yeah do something to make the audience mad at the fact that the Empire
They're
has
going
him.
to piss off the audience basically, right?
Yeah,
I don't think Grogu has a lot of dark side potential, but I don't think he's like fully dark side yet. You think he can come back from the dark side?
I don't think he wants to go to the dark side, but I think
He
enough time with
understands it.
yeah he understands it, and with enough time with like the Empire, I'm sure they could convert him.
You think they're gonna bust him out next episode? It's episode 7. You think they're gonna find Grogu next episode and bust him out, or you feel like not yet? They're definitely gonna get Bill Burr out into the crew next episode for sure. I would imagine.
I think Bo-Katan is also gonna come to the crew.
That would be an interesting one, right? Because
My prediction,
they actually established that no one apparently knew that the Empire was back.
yeah, well, Boba Fett didn't because he was gone from Tatooine.
And he was like, "Oh my God, they're back! Like, what the hell?"
Let me ask you this: do you trust Boba Fett going forward?
I feel like first of all, they never made a formal agreement when like they never completed that agreement of like give me back that armor, right? So like the story,
Why? Because Boba had to take it back.
no, because like call it like Din Djarin wasn't like, oh yeah, oh, I'll make this deal with you, I'll take your armor, right? The stormtroopers kind of just came in and they started fighting, so they never formally like shook on it.
Mm. And
So
also, Boba Fett said, "I give my allegiance to no one."
yeah, and then he's just going in and he just grabbed the armor himself. So it's kind of weird, how that aspect went down because now he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to help you, even though I got my armor ready, and we didn't really shake on the deal because you didn't acknowledge or agree to the deal. So why are you helping, right? Like, what's in it for Boba Fett? The guy's pretty smart, but at the same time, he could have like just. I feel like when Boba got his actual armor, that was at that moment he could have taken on Mando.
Oh yeah,
I feel like Boba Fett would have like ruined Mando's world at that point.
he's also like a I would say he's even a match for Ahsoka.
I would imagine so because Boba's got a lot of killing experience there. Like
Yeah,
got the weapons.
there's a reason in the original trilogy he was like the baddest bounty hunter in the entire galaxy, and he's the one that caught Han Solo.
Yeah, like he is like minus the wisp thing, like that kill condition that Mando has, he doesn't really have it against like him versus Boba. I minus if he didn't have the whispers, Boba would hands down win because the whispers I think is OP. Like I think that's way overpowered. Like
And you have to remember, Boba Fett has been through much more than Din Djarin. He's been through the Clone Wars. He's been through the original trilogy. He's like seen everything.
so, but why would Boba go out of his way to help Din Djarin then?
That's the thing. That's why I'm kind of doubting that he is helping him.
Because he's got to waste his resources, right? It's like, oh yeah, just get on my ship. Oh yeah, let's just get on this planet. Oh yeah, let's do all of this. And I'm like, what Boba Fett's gonna make Din Djarin and Grogu owe him like Fennec, right? Is that the mind trick? Like, is that the manipulation? Is that is that the direction? You think?
I could kind of see a situation where Din Djarin and his people are up against Moff Gideon and his people, and they're fighting each other, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, like Boba Fett and Fennec switch sides. Like they turn around and they pull their rifles on Team Djarin.
I mean, if he has no allegiance, right? But at the same time, you think the Empire is going to cause a guy with no allegiance issues?
They got a lot of money.
But like Boba might not have allegiances, right? But I feel like if the Empire is a real problem for a guy with no allegiances, he might not want to be bothered by them because he knows that
Exactly.
like the Jedi is like, oh yeah, I don't have allegiances, but the Jedi aren't going to go out to hunt you down, right? But the Empire might, and that might cause issues for your quality of life.
Oh yeah, he's definitely apt to turn on them because he hates the Jedi. The Jedi killed his father. Mace Windu cut his father's head off, and ever since then, in the Clone Wars, he was after the Jedi.
So maybe he's got a personal take on Grogu is like use him as a hostage to get back at the Jedi.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And even in the original trilogy, he was affiliated with the Empire, with Darth Vader. Yeah, I think he's gonna turn.
I mean, we got next episode, and then we got the real cliffhanger, which is going to be episode 8. They're going to film their stuff, and then at season 3 we'll learn something.
I could see it going back to Mandalore.
Right.
Because Moff Gideon has the Darksaber, which is the symbol of Mandalore.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure he's the ruler of Mandalore at this point. I think Bo-Katan said as much.
So
but yeah, they're definitely going to meet up. You know why? Because remember in that episode where we saw Bo-Katan?
Right.
She was after him. And she found out where he was. So she's tracking him. And Din Djarin is tracking Moff Gideon also. And they're going to converge on his location.
Right. That's going to be interesting. So yeah, I think this is what the direction we're going to go. And then we're going to save everything for the following week.
Yeah. So what's your prediction for the next week? Do you have any predictions?
They bust out Bill Burr. I'm only going to call him Bill Burr at this point because that's all I know him as. They're going to bust out Bill Burr. Bill Burr's going to join the crew. They're going to do some Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12 heist type of scheme. And then at episode 8, they actually get Grogu out. But dun dun dun, everyone's out to like Battle Royale bloodbath.
Oh yeah, it's going to be big time.
And then
And my prediction, I don't know if it's going to happen next episode. All right, I'll give a prediction for the series as a whole, which is Boba Fett is going to turn.
Okay.
One way or another, he's going to betray Din Djarin.
Right.
I don't know if he's fully going to join the Empire and then betray them also, but he says, I give my allegiance to no one. I feel that was a big foreshadow. That's
Right.
one of the first things he said in this episode. So I think he's going to turn. and then maybe double cross the Empire also. And then I also do see for the next episode. I don't know.
I don't know either. Kind of tricky, right?
Yeah, because it's like if it was the last episode, I'd be making all kinds of predictions. But you still have one more. You know what? I'll just throw it out there. Cara Dune is gonna die.
And there you have
Somebody's
it.
gotta die.
And there you have it, folks. Thank you for joining us, Sons of Queen.
So much.
Episode 1, our collaborative project. Looking forward to doing a lot more of these for you guys. Subscribe, like, support us, comment us. Even if you trash our channel and give us 50 million dislikes and just trash our comments about how crappy we are, we appreciate you. Thank you for spending your time and watching our wonderful channel. And yeah, I think that's it.
May the force be with you.
And the force be with you.